All right, guys. So, quick little project. I messed up a couple things. Number one, forgot my brush cutter. Wanted to make a nice little 10-foot circle here. Already took down a dead ash. That fell pretty good. Besides forgetting my brush cutter, I just wore my regular old chore boots. And, oh, that's deeper than my chore boots, so to figure that out. Not too worried about it. Got another chainsaw, that's why you always bring two. Well, I'm going to plant 2 pears here and 2 pears on the west side. If they grow, I'll plant more, but here's what they look like. Come, bud. Here's. And we're going to plant one here. Also forgot my range finder. Probably won't be able to see this, but if you got a keen eye, back there, you can see the stand. So, this isn't bow range, 35 maybe, so just outside of it. And I'll plant another one there. So we'll have 2 within about 10 feet. A little source of food. Mostly just to maybe suck them in a little bit closer, because right over there is where we traditionally have some corn. All right, so there we have it. 5-10 minutes worth of work. Pick the most kind of open canopy spot I have. So that's obviously not ideal, but dead ash. Leave some ground here. So probably 15 feet apart or so, 2 little pear trees. You could put 1, maybe 2 more, but these 2 spots I picked were on the edge of what gets pretty wet winter and spring. This all will dry up mostly, but most, in the Northeast we've had a pretty wet spring. It's usually not this wet. I've definitely turkey hunted back here and had just smaller puddles. So again, I screwed up. I forgot my extra zip ties. I want to kind of brush hog some of this out. Actually, with what I did with the loppers and a couple of the small saplings, I'm kind of okay with this. But on to the next spot. All right, so I want to kind of walk you guys through something. A little bit of how I plan my stands, and just another little kind of side comment. Probably hardly anybody will ever pick up on. It'll be buried deep in this video, but I think it means a lot. So here you have a stand. This is the east side of my property. We're kind of walking down the 4-wheel trail. I can tell you a little bit of why I initially put this in, and anybody that's even sort of experienced know you do your scouting right at the end of the season. January through March is by far, in my opinion, the best time to scout. You'll see the runs. They're not always the same runs that deer will be using come fall. That's going to change a little bit. But if you are hunting food plots and natural travel patterns, I think they're really strong times to scout for early October. The rut, all things are off. I've said this before, and I don't think anybody will disagree with me. I have some stands that are quiet as a church mouse from October till Halloween, and then blow up, and vice versa. So anyhow, show you a couple runs that I put, or that I scouted, and a trail camera that I use to say, you know what, I don't have anything on this northeast property. Past the UTV, there's that cornfield I showed you earlier. To my east, to the right of this camera, is primarily hardwoods, but it's a little sliver. And then there's another field, and another field, south and north. So it's a great little bedding, staging, transition area. And I never had a path this way, so I couldn't really get in here and hunt it without bumping it. And I put that stand in, and my main goal was this run here. Now I did a couple things in the off season too, which I think is important. I came in and I kind of cleared it out. I didn't make it a human trail, but any blowdowns, things like that, you can kind of see off in the distance there, is a rope scrape to try to get them to continually use it. Again, off season, not the beginning of the season, get them used to it. during the whole spring and summer. And I hunted this a fair amount, mostly during gun. I didn't feel that great about that stand during bow, so I hunted it a lot during gun. And I had a lot of deer come north of me, even when I hunted it with bow. Now I passed a few smaller bucks, and I saw some nice deer on camera. Just never happened to be hunting it here. But there is a run. You can kind of see part of it there. Again, it's hard to scout in the spring. Not impossible. I shouldn't even say hard, but harder to scout. But you see way off there, that's that stand. Also, there's a lumbar support because that tree leans forward and is one of the most uncomfortable stands I have. Even with the lumbar support, it's best I could do. But you can see, and maybe you can gain, it's about 40 yards. And I only have a small window. I had to be on my toes with a gun raised before they cut over to the neighbor's property here. And then even then, if I shot them, they're likely dying on the neighbors. That's not much I want to deal with. And I've got the UTV trail about 20 yards north there. So I see these runs, they keep crossing through here. And I just don't have a tree, a perfect tree, if you will, right? However, for 2 years, I hunted this and watched it. And I'm not a big gun hunter, so I did a lot of gun hunting out of that stand, mostly just kind of for observation sets, because trail cams don't capture everything. And I thought maybe this maple up here, kind of see there, that big one. But I'm settling on this maple here. Not the one in the back, although I'm tempted. Because, if you saw earlier, I can still reach, I'm gonna have to do some trimming, still reach that main run that I've been sort of grooming and keeping up to date for a while. Plus I got this other natural run here, and I have that one to the north that I continually saw bucks, not a lot of doe, but bucks sneak through. So this was an open area. This is where I also said, why not? Again, pears drop relatively early, but why not give them something just to think about? And instead of going that way or turning back around or avoiding this area altogether, have them come in to check to see if any of those sweet pears are there, right? So it'll be years. That's if these survive and do well, that these will be in good shape. But I'll have two about 15 yards apart, 15 feet, excuse me, apart. Nice little pear trees. If they get bigger, I'll have to trim them and whatnot. You can see the sun, it's beautiful right now, it's coming in. They're gonna get really good full sun. I did have an ash right here that I had to top. I'll be honest with you, when it was alive, it gave me a little more cover. I don't really love to have it as open as it is now. Sometimes, again, that's another little small tip, is you don't want to overcut, right? Undercut. But if you're so open now, if I have them cutting through here, first of all, they may be less likely to cut through here because it's that open. And second of all, I'm that much more likely to be caught moving, drawing, again, so early season, probably more successful than rut. So my tip, my buried gem, if you ever start hunting land that somebody else has hunted, like a good bow hunter, not a gun hunter, nothing against gun hunters, I gun hunt, but somebody who bow hunts that needs 30 yards or less, right? Let me correct that for all you expert marksmen who prefers 30 yards or less. What you'll often see is like 3 stands. You'll walk through an old woods, a lot of them are, or not an old woods, but you walk through where somebody used to hunt and you'll say, this guy's got 3 stands up in like the same spot. Why that is because he put a stand in once, hunted it, and eventually realized he was about 20, 30 yards off. All right, and that just happens, right? You get enough big bucks skirting you and you know you're in the wrong spot. So that's my little hidden gem, my little hidden tip. Don't be afraid to move stands. And if you've got the money, you don't even have to take the original one down. Put another one up. Now you need sticks or screw ends and another stand, and that could be a couple $100. So nothing wrong with taking it up and relocating it. It's another stand that you don't have to maintain as well and trim in the fall, so less obligation if you did want to hunt that. But don't be afraid to move your stands. Final tip buried in here. In the spring, in the fall, walk these runs, right? What was really a productive run one time may no longer be a productive run. And that could be you have some, especially in the Northeast where our ash are dying left and right, some big ass ash falls down, blocks that run, and they're skirting it. They're going somewhere else. Right? You don't have to trim it out so like a human can walk through. Take your dog with you, go for a hike, bring some loppers. If you get to a point where you need a chainsaw, pause and come back. But go for a hike and trim that out. That dog's walking through there, no problem. I'd be annoyed at those briars, but a deer's gonna walk through there, no problem. What I don't know is off in there. What does that look like, right? So walk it, keep it open in the fall. They'll use it all summer. And now I'm a deer and I'm cutting through here like no big deal, like I've done all the time, and it's October 15th. I pause over here, maybe just to smell this pear tree. Double lung dead deer. Have a good night, boys.